Jason Rulo again for Pinnacles Blog. This is the third edition of the video blog. It's August 14th, 2009, and today I'm going to be discussing a recent article in Time Magazine from the first week of August 2009, in which an author discusses an exercise program's ability to affect weight loss. Basically, he's of the contention that in order to lose weight, it has to be diet that needs to be watched and not your exercise program. And he quotes a few different professionals in the article to back up his stance. Basically, he's inferring that exercise is not what you need to do to lose weight, and your exercise program is not important. It's your diet that really is what's important. And what we talk about here at Pinnacle, and what we try to get clients to understand, is that it needs to be a combination of the two. And what I'm going to discuss today is the combination, how this kind of works, and really relate it to the article specifically and what they cover. The question really comes down to, does exercise replace, or can it replace, a good diet? And it doesn't replace. It needs to work at the same time or synchronously with the diet in order to get the results you're looking for, especially if you're looking to lose weight. If you're looking to gain weight, you need to fuel the body properly. You can't run a Ferrari on cheap gasoline. That's why you're required to put the premium fuel in it, and that's pretty much the way an athlete needs to do it, or a bodybuilder or something of that nature. Another issue that the author brings up in the article is the fact that people reward themselves oftentimes with food for a good workout, and we really that's something we discourage. I discourage giving clients rewards such as gift certificates to restaurants if at all possible, unless the person is really hardcore in the diet, because that is something that's a negative as far as what we're looking for. You don't want to negatively reinforce the actions of eating when you're regarding exercise as being a positive. It isn't that you can't have a cheat meal or have a meal in which you something you love to eat every now and then, but it needs to be something that, again, is every now and then. The author actually goes on to say, and I quote, "Exercise depletes self-control." Maybe in some people's minds, but they need to refocus and reevaluate why it is they're exactly exercising. Many people just exercise to lose weight, and I'm sorry, but that is the wrong line of thinking to go along with. Exercise should be a part of your life and not just a piece of your life in order to get you back to the weight you used to be. That's a negative way of thinking. It's also it's not going to have a lasting effect. The exercise is going to be intermittent. Oh, I need to lose a few pounds, so I better start exercising, things like that. We don't want that. Really, the real big problem I have with this article is the fact that he quotes this professor, professor at the University of LSU, Dr. Berthold, and this professor has a kind of an academic way of thinking about things. He is actually quoted in the article as saying, and I'm going to read it, it's a paraphrase basically of what he said, but I don't want to misquote, so I want to make sure I get it right. It says, "Since we only exercise a short time of the day," which is true, we are burning less calories overall than we did before the industrial age, when we had to move as a part of daily life, to cut the grass, to walk to work, to do all these things. He also goes on to add that because exercise now is more vigorous, that we are more tired, more sore, and therefore less likely to move at other times of the day. That could be true in certain people's instances, but those are usually the people that are not that aren't getting the results that they're looking for, because they are not doing the things that they are needing to do in order to get the results. Exercise is a way of life, and it's also a way of thinking. You can't just say, well, I'm going to the gym to exercise, but that's the only exercise I'm doing today. You need to think in a proactive way. I'm going to park at the back of parking lot, so I have to walk a little bit more. I'm going to take the stairs. I'm not going to use the self-assist on the mower when I'm cutting the grass. All these different things that become a part of your way of life. I'm not going to take the easy road. I'm not going to take the easy road. Those things all increase your overall daily physical activity levels, and they will increase your overall calorie sense. So when you're thinking about I need to lose weight, it needs to be an all the day thing and an all the time thing, not just while I'm in the gym. That is one of the biggest problems I try to get across with new clients that come in. They think they just walk in the door and magically they're going to exercise and lose weight. They need to be thinking about it. They say, what'd you have for lunch yesterday? Well, I can't remember. What do you mean you can't remember? It has to be a way of thinking. I'm going to eat a certain number of meals a day. I'm going to make sure that I eat the right stuff and all these things to make sure that it is a way of life and that I am going to get results out of this. If you think of it as an on-off thing, when you walk in the gym, you walk out of the gym, again, you're not going to be as successful as you could be. Even if you followed an okay diet, you're not going to be as successful as you could be. But the diet is, it's 50% of it, because you're in the gym and you're exercising a limited amount of time throughout the day, and it's very quickly you can add those calories back in. Most people do not realize how fast it is, but I'll address that in a little bit later here in the blog. Some of the reasons why we're not thinner is food quality. Back in the day, when your grandmother and grandfather were growing up, we ate real foods that were not processed down. Now we're eating foods that are made in a factory, that are pre-processed and things like that. The quality of the food is not as good. And then the quantity of food, the portion sizes are much greater. Those two things combined are putting you at a downfall right off the start, and that's even if you tried to eat the right things. So you got to understand that the quality of the food is less, so you've got to focus a little bit more on making sure that you eat good quality foods, and then understanding that portion sizes are ridiculous. If you go to Europe, they eat much smaller meals, and it's just a way of life. Well, you wonder why the Europeans are generally thinner than we are. They are more active in that they have to walk every day. I was in New York City about 3 weeks ago, and there are generally less heavy people in New York. Why? Because they have to walk everywhere. They have to move around. Now, they eat out a lot, but they balance that fact because of the fact they have to walk a lot. So, yes, they're overweight people, don't get me wrong, but you'll find those anywhere. But generally in the places that they have to be more active, you're going to see less numbers or percentage-wise heavy people. And also, with the pun intended, you generally see people are heavier nowadays because they like to have their cake and eat it too. Well, you must exercise and diet. You cannot not exercise and not diet. You cannot exercise and not diet. You can't just diet and not exercise. Everything has to come in. It has to be an entire way of life. You can't just expect, well, I'm going to exercise and now I can eat whatever I want. It doesn't work like that. You can do that, but you're not going to get the results you're looking for unless you're one of those genetically gifted people out there. The other thing is just having an understanding of the sheer net of the amount of calories that you burn and can take in a given amount of time is a huge advantage for people. By the way, I want to go back before I forget. The author that was quoted in this, or the expert that was quoted by the author in this thing, Dr. Berthold from LSU, his idea of exercise is walking. So when he's saying that we are physically more tired and more sore, and that's why we don't do more physical activity after we exercise, that's a load of crap in my opinion. The people that exercise more vigorously now have more energy, their cognitive abilities are better, and as long as they're focusing on what they're supposed to be focusing on, they're going to be more likely to go out and be more physically active. If your idea of walking is exercise, yes, you're not going to receive all the rest of the benefits because that's not strenuous enough on the body to cause all the positive benefits that we look for when we train your clients here at Pinnacle. But in summary, the last part of the article, he says he's going to skip the VersaClimber, which he does 5 minutes at the beginning of his workout, which will probably burn about 60 calories. And he's also going to skip his Blueberry Bar. The Blueberry Bar is 140 calories. That is his reward for a good workout. If those are the two cause and effect things, skip the VersaClimber and the Blueberry Bar. Those are good done together. But if he was rewarding himself for the Blueberry Bar, for the VersaClimber, he is now at a net deficit of 80 calories. He's gaining weight. Enough said. Hope you enjoyed the blog. Look forward to your comments. Thanks.